Oh no, I'm not going to do Hobnobs tonight. Boo! Okay, well I might. Anyway, I've got some other poems which I'm going to perform. But before I do that, more applause for Rodney. In the first half, I read a poem about Benjamin Malloy, a poet who died 30 years ago before he was able to realise his potential. I'm going to start this half with a poem about a poet who more than realised his potential, died just 2 years ago this summer, Seamus Heaney, and I've got, I think, most of his books, but every time I go into a bookshop I find a collection I didn't know about, so very prolific man, and rightly so. So this is Lament for Seamus. As summer passed, so did you, leaving as you always did, a generous space for others. Once I saw you read in London, a benign god descended from the mountain, coupling links of the human chain. Your work travelled well. In Florence we sat up late, drinking wine, entranced by your voice and Liam's piping. Your poems lingered in the night, causing me to rise at dawn, pen my own verse, giddy with the richness of language found. And now, sad day, I come home, weighed down with groceries, hear your name on the news, which cannot be good news. What's a poet doing amid the lunchtime wars and warring? You are gone, and now forever here, leaving us alone with summer's beauty, the certain truth you fashioned from your poetry. Jeremy Corbyn said he wouldn't press the nuclear button, and since he said that, a whole string of politicians have been queuing up to say that they would, and how patriotic and British doing so would be. So I thought I'd read a poem which I wrote some time ago, and it's just reminding people what might happen if somebody's idiotic enough to take that decision. This is a poem called Peace on Your Wings, and it's about a Japanese girl called Sadeko. And there's a little preamble which I'm going to say before the poem. On the 6th of August 1945, the Americans dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima called Little Boy. On the 9th of August, a second bomb was dropped on Nagasaki, and that one was named Fat Boy. And about 250,000 Japanese died as a direct result, and countless more in the decades since. And one of these was a little girl called Sadeko. She died of leukemia 11 years after the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. She was told if she folded 1,000 paper cranes, her wish to get well would come true. When she was dying, she held up one crane and cried, "I will write peace on your wings, and you will fly all over the world." When she died aged 12, in 1956, she completed 644 cranes. Now every year thousands of cranes are brought to Hiroshima's Peace Park to decorate a statue of Sadeko, which has become a powerful monument to peace. So here's the poem. I will write peace on your wings, and you will fly all over the world. You will carry this crushed stem through clean air, deposit seeds in hearts which have forgotten how to care. I will write peace on your wings, and you will fly into the sun, burn a flame of peace for those who rule by gun. I will write peace on your wings, and you will be lazy, do nothing all the good day long. You will sleep by rivers, your brilliance ambush morning. Peace on your wings, you will be strong, you will carry my tiny song. Okay, shall I do the Hobnob poem? I think I should.
Yay!
Because wrong collection. Okay, I was flying home from Amsterdam, and a girl sat next to me who was Dutch. and she offered me a biscuit. So this is Biscuit Girl from Amsterdam. "Would you like a biscuit?" said the girl sitting next to me on the plane from Amsterdam. Her teeth so white, I think she must eat only apples. I appreciatively take one, crunch away. "They are like our English biscuit, the Hobnob," I say. Her eyes widen. "The Hobnob?" Those white teeth again, as she seriously digests this important information. "We call them country cookies," she says at last. Isn't that funny, I think? Hobnob sounds much Dutcher than country cookies. She is on her way to Nepal, where neither hobnobs nor country cookies can easily be found. Instead, she will digest the thrill of exploring fresh lands, a world experienced through young senses, opening like a giant lotus hobnob in any flavour you like. Okay, this is a poem about an artist from Cuba called Ana Mendieta, who had a show at the Hayward Gallery recently, and she was brought from Cuba at the age of 13 after the revolution because her parents would worry about the effects of the revolution, and to America. And after she'd been living in America for 20 years, she had this huge longing to return to the country where she had grown up partly. And she went back to Cuba in 1981, and that's where she started producing her best art. And so this is a poem called Longing for Cuba, and there's a couple of lines in here taken from a poem which was at the Hayward Gallery, which says, "My whole being is filled with want of Cuba." Home after 20 years, the artist fills her heart and art with natural materials, carves sculptures into limestone caves in Yaruko National Park, reactivates Taino goddesses, rescues the black Siboney Venus from an abandoned colonial grave. How the heart longs for homeland, misses the nurture of childhood years, spirited to America at 13 from the flame of revolutionary Cuba into the maw of its bullying neighbour. The artist writes in a poem, "My whole being is filled with want of Cuba, the teenage hurt of being wrenched from home, provoking nameless fears. She seizes the moment, returns again and again, loves the crocodile-shaped island, bonds with its artists, reclaims her birthright. She writes in that same poem, the art of thinking is to see ideas grow from root to fruit. The island embraces her energy. She offers it the fire of her youth." Thank you. I'm not going to say anything about this next poem because it's self-explanatory. It's called Keeping Trout in the Bath, and offers some useful tips. This is my first trout poem, not perhaps a long one. This is because my knowledge of trout is severely limited. I sometimes eat rainbow trout, but I'm not familiar with their natural habitat. This is because I live by a railway siding, many miles from fresh water. Still, trout have been familiar with my small kitchen. Their gutted spines and pop-eyed heads have added resonance to my dustbin. I've placed trout alongside croquet potatoes, red cabbage, sweet corn. I pitied trout in the pan, wondered to what purpose were they born. This is my first trout poem. I'm hoping to keep one as a pet. It can live in the bath, and once a month I'll take it to the vet. Oh, I wish I were a trout, leaping in the river, not a frozen trout in Sainsbury's, competing for attention with sausages and liver. Thank you. This is my last poem tonight, and it's a poem that sort of found its reason for existence. It's called An Old Revolutionary Never Dies, and it's dedicated to guess who? Jeremy Corbyn. So, here we go. Though I no longer man the barricades, it doesn't mean I've lost the way. Instead, I allow a garment to vent my discontent. I wear Che Guevara underpants to the office every day. They're inside my trousers now. Doesn't mean that's where they'll stay. Like revolutionary hearts waiting to be awoken, my Che Guevara pants are far more than a token. They'll become a flag of freedom when the walls come tumbling down. I'll fly them from the boss's door when we gun him down at dawn. Then line up all the jokers who wear comedy ties to work. That revisionist Mickey Mouse was always such a jerk. Under Che Guevara underpants, we'll sing the people's flag and hum the Internationale as we march the old men drag. We'll kick out all the suits, we'll liberate the loot, we'll unlock all the vaults and legalise a toot. So quietly flows the vanguard, you'll not see us sneaking up until our boot breaks down the door and we raise the triumphal cup. Us revolutionaries never go away. Like the poor, we're always here, awaiting the right moment to raise the pants that cheer. Like the hearts of poets, waiting to be awoken, my Che Guevara underpants are far more than a token. And here they are. Good. Thank you very much. So continuing with the